closer. Danke.
So, in the gun and knife world, Kydex, or thermoplastic sheet, seems to be all the rage at the minute, with people making custom bits and pieces out of it. So, I thought I'd have a go. And it actually worked out alright, which is pretty good going for me, because usually if I try something DIY wise, it just goes boobs up big time. So, basically, I bought some Kydex off eBay, 2 sheets like this, A4 size, and, well, this one obviously has had a bit cut off it, and I've made this shell caddy. Now, this was my first attempt, so yeah, it's a little bit rough, but it worked quite well. Yeah, I need to make some improvements, and to be honest, when I was doing practical shotgunning the other day, everyone seemed to have the quad carriers, so this is a bit of a how-to video of how to make these. Well, we'll go with the quad carriers, because I think, to be honest, this was a little bit big. I was struggling a little bit, but first attempt it worked out all right. So excuse me, you have to excuse the rain if you can hear it, because I've got like the camera mounted on the ceiling looking down, and it's absolutely chucking it down outside. So yeah, I'm going to show you basically how to make one of these shell caddies. Now, I'm no expert with this Kydex. Like I said, that was my first attempt and it seemed to go alright. So with a bit of heavy editing, I should be able to knock out an half decent video on how to make something nice and simple like this that will save you a ton of money, because these things, they're about £50, 45, £50 here in the UK. And you know, ideally you need 3 or 4 of them on your belt, and it starts mounting up to a lot of money. So have a go at this. It's really quite easy. I was really quite surprised how easy this stuff is to work with. Right then, so first of all, what I did, I'll talk you through what I did. I made a prototype out of cardboard, or out of a cereal box. That's pretty much what I did. I just got all the measurements and just made basically a prototype like that. As you can see, that's that one there. And now the hardest bit, what I found, was, well, not the hardest bit, but what I did then is I made a former, because I figured out, how am I going to bend this? You know, people use presses and this, that and the other. Well, having given it a bit of thought, I made this crude little device out of a piece of laminate flooring, some roofing lath, screwed it down pretty much to how I wanted it, and I also made a piece of wood like that. Well, cut a piece of wood. Well, actually I had to glue 2 pieces of wood to get the size I wanted. Me being a bit lazy, I couldn't be bothered to go and buy, oh, I'm a bit tight as well. I didn't really want to go and buy a big length of wood when all I needed was a piece like that. And basically that's the internal measurement of your shell caddy, if you get what I mean. So basically what I did was, imagine this is the straight bit of Kydex, like this, obviously cut out to that shape. Yeah. And I basically, obviously warmed it up, got it really hot with the heat gun, lay it out like that, and then got a piece of wood, and basically just pushed it into the former like that, and then bent the sides round, and then I put another piece of wood on top of that with some weight on top to hold these edges down. Left it for about 15 minutes, and then obviously got it out the former, got the piece of wood out, and it pretty much left me with that. Obviously I had to do a few minor alterations and a bit of sanding and stuff, and that's pretty much how I did it. With this one I spent a little bit of money on a tack lock. It was about £10 tack lock, because I thought, oh, that's going to be the easiest way to fit it to a big belt like this. I know you can get the smaller belts, but I found this belt I've got, which was kicking about anyway, would be ideal. It'd be a bit more stable. So I ended up getting a tack lock, which added a little bit of money to, you know, making this cheap shell caddy. But then a friend of mine at the shooting range gave me one that he'd made, and he'd made it even more simpler by just using an offcut piece of Kydex. Obviously this is for a smaller belt, and just riveting it on. And he's got loads of these. I mean, he just said, yeah, you can have this one. So I'm going to attempt to make some smaller ones like this, but I think that works really well. So, and they're a lot easier. I mean, I'm no expert and I'm no professional whatsoever at practical shotgun shooting. My reloading is mega slow, but these things certainly help. I think, to be honest, this big one that I've made, I'll either, I don't know, throw it in a drawer, or I'll just put it on the back of the belt just as storage more than anything, rather than actually feeding off this one. Instead I'm going to make 3 or 4 of these to add to the belt. Okay, I'll show you how I did it then, and well, I'll attempt to show you how I did it on camera, and we'll see how one turns out. So, okay then guys, so that's the size piece of Kydex that I need just to basically warm up now and form into that sort of shape. So if we just clear some of this stuff out of the way, get my former. Well, I'll need that in a minute, I'll just put that there. Now, you may have noticed I've got a metal sheet here. That's just a heat-proof sheet, pretty much, so I don't burn my table. So always make sure as well you get your Kydex the right way round. You want that sort of rough patterned edge. It is patterned on the outside. And then let's get this thing warmed up. Gloves on as well. It does get fairly hot, this stuff does. But like I say guys, I'm no expert. This is my second attempt and I'm doing it on camera, so give me some credit. Right then, let's get this thing warmed up. And now notice how it's getting fairly flexible. Still needs a bit more heat. Now a lot of people put this stuff in an oven, but my wife really is not keen on letting me do that, so I've invested in a cheap hot air gun. So this thing will do the job. Must obey the wife. Right, so once this stuff is fairly flexible, you've got to be pretty quick with it because it soon goes off. But you ideally, well, what I've found with, because it did take me a few attempts to do that that big shell caddy I showed you, I could tend to get it as sort of as floppy as a sheet of paper almost. Right, let's get it on to where I want it. Ah, that's what I marked it for. I marked them, those two marks there, for the central bit. So, ooh, it's going boobs up like I thought it would for camera. Let's just give that a bit more heat. In fact, guys, I'm going to give that another go because that's gone in a bit pissed up, to be fair. See, it's going off already, so that kind of demonstrates it. But I've cocked this one up, but like I said, it's quite forgiving, so I'm just going to give it some heat. Get it back to a flat sheet again. I don't think it was quite warm enough then. Give it loads of heat. Okay, let's give it a whirl. Let's be quick. I think that's gone in a bit better. Let's warm these up. Now a lot of people use a press to sort of put their project, so to speak, in. Excuse me. Well, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold these over, put this bit of floorboarding on top, and then I'm going to put some barbell weights on top just to hold these edges down. So let's just get them nice and warm. I'm going to hold that bit over. Quite hard to do on camera, this is. Just while I warm this side. Now that's basically, as I'm looking. Now don't forget, you can sand it, you know, even if slightly out of line or slightly out of shape. Like I said, it is forgiving. You can sand it, you can reheat it, just to get it as perfect as you want. Now say that's my press. I've just put 20 kilos on there and that's holding it all down. Leave that for sort of 10 minutes and then we'll get it out and see what it looks like. Okay then guys, let's see how this one has worked out then. Let's just get all this weight off. It's cooled down. I say I've only gave it about 10 minutes. Okay, right, yeah, so it's not perfect there, but like I say, it'll be sanded, so you ain't really got to worry about that. So let's just take that out. Still a bit warm. And there you have it. That is the basic shape of your shell caddy. This one's probably slightly bigger because I've used my form. Oh, it's not too bad actually, more or less. A little bit longer, yeah, I know, but I've got to trim the edges just to make those bits to obviously keep the cartridge in there. I'll just show you what I mean. Reach over. Obviously those bottom bits stop the shell falling out, so I'll just have to make that. Easy enough though, just snip it and warm it up again and fold it. And I'll also make that as well on my first attempt. I'll just reach over and get it to the other side of the camera. I made this, which is a little bit crude, and it made life, I don't know, it was doable when you got gloves on, but it's a bit harsh really. It didn't really need to be you know, that sort of you know, strong, so to speak, to stop the shells falling out. It works, but get rid of that. But my friend who made this literally just pushed the edge in, and that works just fine. It does stop them kind of bouncing out. So, but yeah, that's my attempt so far, so let's move on to the next stage. Okay then guys, so to make that little bottom bit there on either side, this is the way I'm doing it anyway. I know you could probably cut that out to shape before you form it, but I think I'm going to do it this way. It's kind of less complicated and less things to do while this stuff's hot. So basically I've just made a cut there and a cut there. I'll just do the other side, get it the right way round. And a cut there. And now what I want to do is I want to get rid of this bit here, so I'm going to score that with a knife. Let's just measure it. What we're talking, yeah, say 11mm. I think I need a sharper blade. I'll try and just get some pliers. Try and snap that bit off now. Take the piece out, take the former out of there. Okay, so far so good. Just want them edges off. Oh, that bit went flying. And so did that bit. I think this is probably an easier way of doing it this way. And then all I've got to do is put my former back in, warm it up and just fold those edges down. I think that is going to be the way to do it. As long as I don't lose shape on the rest of it. Let's give it a go. Need some room. I think I'm just going to do one at a time like that, and I'm just basically holding it down. I know it's pretty crude, but it's going to work, I think. Oh yeah, keep live ammunition away from your heat gun, by the way. That's one down. Give that one a warm. In fact, I could just put it in like that back in the former to hold those edges down. Don't know what would be best, or just put in a bit of weight on. I think I'll just put a bit of weight on for a few minutes. And that is it. Yeah, it's pretty crude, but like I said, it'll sand down. His stuff will polish up a little bit. It's quite forgiving. Well, let's just test it for comfort. Not bad. Pretty similar to this one. Cool.